All right, listeners, ready for a deep dive that might just turn your thinking upside down?
I think they're going to love this one.
Today, we're exploring the power of lifelong learning
But here's the twist.
with a mentor you might not expect.
Genghis Khan.
Yeah, that's right, Genghis Khan.
We're pulling some seriously insightful stuff from this book on ego.
And how it all ties back to the legendary conqueror.
And honestly, the connection is pretty mind-blowing.
So we're not talking about conquering nations here.
No.
We're talking about conquering ourselves, right?
Yeah,
Our own limitations and those assumptions we have about what we think we know.
that's it.
Like maybe thinking we've got it all figured out already.
Right, because you see, the book digs deep into how Genghis Khan's success wasn't just about brute force.
Yeah.
There was this relentless pursuit of knowledge behind it.
Mm-hmm.
This incredible ability to adapt and evolve his strategies.
Which kind of challenges that image we all have of him, right?
Oh, totally.
As just a ruthless barbarian.
You think back to history class? It's all Mongol hordes pillaging across Asia and Europe.
But do they even teach us about the lemons?
The lemons.
Yeah. The book mentions how the Mongol Empire actually brought lemons to China
Ah, right.
for the first time. And they were responsible for all sorts of cultural exchanges,
It's true.
like introducing noodles to the West.
Yeah. Well, that illustrates a pretty crucial point.
Does it?
Khan understood that there was wisdom to be found everywhere, even in the cultures he conquered.
Interesting.
He wasn't afraid to take the best of what he encountered and make it his own.
Like what kind of stuff?
Well, like adopting the decimal system
Oh.
from the Turkic tribes,
Wow.
or revolutionizing his military tactics,
Really?
using siege warfare techniques he learned from others.
So he was like the original life hacker,
Aha, exactly.
always looking for ways to upgrade and optimize his approach.
That's a great way to put it.
And not just with practical things,
Nice.
but with leadership too, right?
Absolutely.
All
He
right.
actively sought out advice from a diverse range of advisors,
Oh.
even from those he had conquered.
That's wild.
He knew that having different perspectives around him
Yeah.
was key to making smart decisions.
That takes a certain level of humility, though, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
To admit you don't have all the answers
Right.
and be open to learning from sources you might not expect.
Humility is crucial when it comes to continuous learning.
Is it?
The book actually uses this brilliant quote
Ooh, quote?
from the jazz legend Wynton Marsalis.
Okay.
He said, "Humility engenders learning because it beats back the arrogance that puts blinders on. It leaves you open for truths to reveal themselves."
It's true, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's so easy to fall into that trap
What trap?
of thinking we've arrived
No.
once we achieve a certain level of success or expertise.
It's tempting.
But that kind of arrogance can actually hold us back from real growth, can't it?
Oh, for sure.
Like we miss out on valuable insights
Mm-hmm.
because we're too busy trying to prove ourselves.
Right. And that brings us to this important idea.
Yeah.
The idea of never-ending graduation.
Okay, I love that phrase.
That's good.
Never-ending graduation. It really captures that idea that learning shouldn't stop
Exactly.
just because we've hit certain milestones.
It doesn't.
But what does it actually mean?
Well, it means no matter how much you achieve, there's always more to learn.
Always.
You never truly graduate from the school of life.
I like that.
And to really embrace this mindset, we need to acknowledge something.
What's that?
The more we learn, the more we realize how much we don't know.
It's like that John Wheeler quote.
Oh, yeah.
As our island of knowledge grows, so does the shore of our ignorance.
Exactly.
So even as we gain expertise,
Mhm.
we're constantly bumping up against the limits of our understanding.
That's right.
The key is to stay curious and humble,
For sure.
recognizing that we're always students,
Oh,
no matter how much we accomplish.
you mentioned the danger of assuming we've arrived.
What?
How does ego play into that trap? I mean, haven't we all felt that at some point?
Absolutely. That temptation to think we've got it all figured out,
Ego is seductive.
isn't it?
It whispers in our ear telling us we're experts,
Yeah.
that we don't need to learn or grow anymore.
Hmm.
And this leads to complacency,
Uh-oh.
a resistance to feedback,
Right.
and ultimately a stagnation of our potential.
So it's like those sirens in Greek mythology,
It's siren.
luring sailors to shipwreck with their beautiful songs.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Ego can be just as alluring,
It can.
tempting us with that false promise of knowing it all,
Yeah.
and ultimately leading us to crash and burn.
That's a great analogy.
And the antidote to this siren song of ego
Yes.
is willingness to embrace discomfort
Embrace discomfort.
in our learning,
Okay.
to actively seek out challenges that push us.
Push us how?
beyond our current understanding.
That sounds a bit masochistic.
Does it?
Is there a way to embrace discomfort without making learning a total chore? It's not really about suffering, though.
No.
It's more about recognizing that real growth.
Yeah.
It happens outside of our comfort zones.
I can see that. Think of it like a muscle,
Okay.
You got to push it to its limits to make it stronger.
So how do we actually put this into practice? How do
Yeah.
we actively seek out discomfort in our learning?
The book suggests a few strategies.
Okay.
One is to read outside of your usual areas of expertise.
Oh, interesting.
Force yourself to grapple with new concepts
Okay.
and perspectives.
So like,
It's like when you travel to a new country, right?
yeah,
Everything feels so different
it does.
and unfamiliar.
Yeah,
You're constantly learning and adapting.
that's true.
And that feeling of unfamiliarity,
Yeah,
that's where the magic happens.
a magic.
It forces our brains to work harder,
Okay.
and make new connections.
So it's not just about accumulating knowledge then. It's about expanding our capacity to learn.
To adapt.
Precisely.
It's about developing that mental agility we need
Mm-hmm.
to thrive in a world that's constantly changing.
Another strategy the book mentions
Yeah.
is to intentionally put yourself in situations
Okay.
where you are the least knowledgeable person in the room.
Oh, gosh, that sounds terrifying.
Uh-huh.
Who wants to feel like the newbie all the time?
I get it.
Yeah.
But it's actually in those situations
Oh.
where we can learn the most.
Uh-huh.
It's about setting aside our ego
Oh.
and being open to absorbing knowledge
Yeah.
from others. But
Okay.
remember, even Genghis Khan
Genghis Khan.
surrounded himself with people
Okay.
who were more knowledgeable than him in certain areas.
So it's about recognizing we can learn from anyone,
Absolutely.
regardless of their background or experience.
Everyone has something valuable to teach us
I guess so.
if we're willing to listen.
You mentioned earlier the importance of understanding how we learn best. Like, we need to create systems that support our own unique learning preferences.
Exactly. Peter Drucker, the famous management consultant,
Oh, yeah?
he emphasized this point.
Did he?
He said, it's not enough to simply be willing to learn.
Oh,
We need to be intentional about how we approach it.
intentional how?
Do you find yourself drawn more towards visual learning, auditory learning, or perhaps a hands-on kinesthetic approach?
I've never really thought about it before.
Mm.
But I think I learn best through a combination of reading and listening.
Like with this deep dive,
Yeah.
you're absorbing information from the book excerpts and from my insights. Well,
Right.
then you're already on the right track.
Am I?
The key is to identify your own learning style
Mm-hmm.
and then tailor your learning experiences accordingly.
Okay.
If you're a visual learner,
Yeah.
incorporate more images, diagrams, and videos into your learning.
Okay.
If you're auditory, focus on podcasts, lectures, and discussions.
This is making me rethink my whole approach to learning.
Yep.
It's not just about passively consuming information.
Right.
It's about actively engaging with it and finding ways to make it stick.
And it's about recognizing that learning is a lifelong journey,
A journey,
not a destination.
not a destination.
There's always something new to discover, something new to master.
to master.
Speaking of mastering, the book drew a fascinating distinction
Okay.
between amateurs and professional.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
What was it again?
Remind me.
The amateur gets defensive when challenged.
Okay.
They see it as a threat to their ego.
Uh-oh.
The professional, on the other hand,
Yeah?
embraces challenges as opportunities for growth.
Huh.
They're constantly seeking feedback
Yeah.
and looking for ways to improve their craft.
That makes me think about Genghis Khan again.
Does it?
He was constantly adapting his strategies
Right.
based on what he learned from his experiences
Mhm.
and from the advice of others.
That's right.
He was always striving to become a better leader,
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
better strategist.
He embodied the mindset of a true professional.
He did.
Always learning, always growing, always evolving.
And this brings us to another important point, I think.
What's that?
The impact of lifelong learning on society as a whole.
Interesting.
I haven't thought about it in that context before.
Well, think about it. A society that embraces lifelong learning,
Mm-hmm.
it's more adaptable, innovative, and resilient
Okay.
in the face of change.
So it's not just about individual growth then.
Yeah.
It's about collective progress.
Exactly. It's about fostering a culture of curiosity,
Curiosity.
intellectual humility,
Right.
and a thirst for knowledge.
It's about recognizing that learning isn't just something we do in school.
Exactly.
It's a fundamental part of being human.
It's about embracing that never-ending graduation.
Never-ending graduation.
I like that. Always striving, always growing, always evolving.
This has been such an insightful deep dive.
It has.
It's given me a whole new perspective
Good.
on what it means to be a lifelong learner.
I'm glad to hear that.
So as we wrap up, what's the one key takeaway that you hope our listeners will walk away with today? I think the big takeaway for me is that continuous learning, it's not just some self-improvement fad.
No.
It's essential for success.
It is.
For growth. And honestly, for staying relevant in a world that's constantly changing.
Right.
It's like Genghis Khan's story showed us.
How so?
Adapt or become obsolete.
Powerful stuff.
And it's not just about keeping up with the trends.
No.
Or technologies either.
It's deeper than that.
It's about cultivating that mindset of curiosity, humility, a willingness to step outside our comfort zones, to always be a student.
Always a student.
Even when we think we've become the master.
I like that.
And to remember that the journey of learning, it's never truly over.
Never over.
There's always another mountain to climb.
Always another marrow.
Another skill to master. Another perspective to explore.
Speaking of which, what uncomfortable learning will you be seeking out this week?
Ooh, good question.
What will you conquer next by staying a student?
You know, it's funny.
What's that?
We often associate learning with formal education.
Yeah.
But Genghis Khan's story reminds us it can happen anywhere.
Anywhere.
Anytime.
That's right.
It's about being open to new experiences, new perspectives, new ways of thinking.
Every interaction, every conversation, even every mistake
really
can be a learning opportunity.
I guess so.
If we approach it with the right mindset, the world truly becomes our classroom.
And we become the architects of our own never-ending graduation.
I love it.
Constantly expanding our knowledge, our skills, our understanding of the world around us.
That's it for this deep dive.
It is.
We hope you've enjoyed this journey
into the surprising world of Genghis Khan.
And the power of continuous learning.
Until next time, keep learning.
Keep growing.
And keep pushing the boundaries
of your own potential.
We'll see you on the next episode,
where we'll dive into another fascinating topic.
And uncover more insights
to help you navigate the complexities
of our ever-changing world.